Did you know Dump City sometimes conducts weird lighting experiments? Ah, that one makes sense, for this episode at least. See if you can spot it. Hey everyone, it's Brento here. Welcome to another episode of Dump City. Check it out. Level 97. We're well beyond our target of 95 now in solo self-found. I've come to realize that I like this combo here of skills, Defiance Banner. See what it does? It adds spell suppression, and this here, it makes suppressed spell damage unlucky against me. I haven't died in a week, to be honest. Well, I'll probably do in the final episode of the series sort of a summary of how I built this character. What's on the show this week, you're probably wondering, as you should wonder. I'm going to go over Blight Basics. I'm going to talk about an idea for a new Scared Straight program designed to fix the economy. Then I'll do a Blight example. Blight's not a terribly long mechanic, so there should be enough time to then do the first pinnacle boss of the series. We'll do Eater of Worlds. We'll see how well I do. But before we do that, let's have a look at the item of the week. It is this rune graft here. Check it out. I believe that's the best one you can get. That's from King's March, as you probably know by now. If you've been following the series. Let me right click it here and apply it to this here. I've never done this. This is the first time I've applied one of these. Let's see how this works. Yoink. Oh, I got to allocate it first. Okay. Let's give myself 30 life. Yoink. And then we'll apply it. Wow. That's cool. There you go. Watch the King's March episode if you want to see how to get one of those. That wasn't terribly hard to get. What was our alternate item of the week? It was this axe. Okay, remember what we did with our perfect weapon last week? What happened to it? Not such a good outcome. But I made a new one. It's pretty easy to make these axes. It's not a great axe at this level, but it's still not bad. There you go. That's the item of the week. Now let's talk about a very important topic. Your favorite topic. Some of you, depending on how much of a noob you are. Let's talk about more tips for noobs. First tip is the Blight mechanic itself. It spawns in 8% of maps, in case you're wondering. And as with all mechanics, you should always check your Atlas tree and your scarabs for boost to those odds. Here's a Blight scarab, and here's a Blight scarab. Just a side note too, when you put a scarab in with a map, a Blight scarab, you can't also activate Blight as well. You can either do one or the other. You won't get an extra Blight encounter if you use the map device with Blight and a Blight scarab. Okay, so there you go. There's the first tip for noobs this week. Have you ever wondered what these eyeballs do? Do they spy on you when you think your machine is off? Absolutely. But you wouldn't be watching this show if you didn't know that already. Also, they go in these belts here. This is my collection of belts, by the way. Once you specialize a bit in this, you can get some decent ones. I might use the Recombinator to make a really good one here. Maybe mix one with Chaos Resistance and one with Life. Put a good eyeball in it, and there you go. You're probably like, where do these things spawn regularly? Well, they spawn in the Abyss mechanic, and they spawn inside Stygian Spires. Kind of makes sense, right? And they drop like candy from them. If you're specializing in the Abyss mechanic and you kill enough monsters, Stygian Spires appear. Specializing in Abyss will increase the odds of Abyss encounters and therefore Stygian Spires appearing. So I've actually gotten tons of these belts. These are just my best 7. So I'm going to use these and make a super belt. And it's because I have not had a good mage blood drop yet. So there you go. Anyways, that's more tips for noobs. So before we get too far into running a Blight map here, I'm going to go over some basics. The first lesson is this is basically a tower defense minigame. I understand there are many aficionados of the genre. Also, for high-end graphic card users, here's where you get your money's worth out of your hardware. So let that be the first lesson. Expect a bit of choppiness if you have a weaker gaming machine like I do. Also, aside from the obvious principles of tower defense strategies, you want to focus on maximizing rewards and minimizing risks. As with all PoE mechanics, it has a rewards specialty, and that is, of course, okay, so if you're familiar with anointing things, you anoint rings, you anoint amulets, you anoint maps. So this is where you get oils to get better rewards or buff your blighted maps. Note too, there are blight encounters that spawn in any map in addition to blight maps. Blight maps, however, are much larger, contains more bosses, and offer a greater variety and quantity of rewards. Note that the Atlas passives that affect Blight do not affect blighted maps. So when you specialize in your Atlas tree, you're affecting how the Blight encounter works within the map. But a blighted map doesn't gain the benefits from that. So just keep that in mind. Here's some Blight tips when setting up your tower defense. In the mechanic, as the roots spread, the towers that spawn indicate what type of resistance they have. So for example, you wouldn't want to build a fire tower on a fire-resistant root. So you'll notice that in the user interface. Take note though, towers that kill monsters are unaffected by a player's increase to item quantity or rarity. According to Wiki, linked below, the priority should be slowing monsters rather than damaging them. Seismic, chilling, or summoning towers should be your first choices near the pump. Then, add an empowering tower to make them better. If empowered, you want all the towers no less than tier 3. Without empowerment, at least tier 4 is recommended. Glacial Cage, as many of you know, can be really effective near the pump. Having a mix of both seismic and chilling towers, however, ensures one resistance type or the other can be handled to protect the core. Once your core defense system is in place with tier 3 and 4 empowered towers, you generally want to focus on meteor towers so long as the roots are not fire resistant. They say tier 4 fire towers are significantly stronger than tier 3 ones. When you spawn a blight map, it is sometimes advisable to re-roll fast monsters and those that cannot be slowed below base. Obviously, the faster they're going into the tower, the more problematic it can be for you. So that is something you got to keep in mind when looking at what's on your modifiers. When anointing your rings, the chilling tower's ability to freeze targets is the most recommended, but these ones here are good on the cheap too. See that? This was, I think, 2 sepia oils or something, from what I understand, these stack. This was dirt cheap to put on my rings, and this is an anointment slot on your rings. And as far as I can tell, these anointments on rings are dedicated for doing blight encounters, okay? And obviously you want to get an anointment for general purpose, like I got Entrench here. This is a really good one. This is why you want the oils, is for your amulet mainly. I will once again link the anointment calculator in the description for popular amulet, ring, and map recipes. In general, it is not recommended to water too far from the pump when building your towers. Since you'll be busy upgrading your towers and fighting monsters, you won't have much time to be running around. Now, before I do one sample blight encounter, a word from our sponsor, which is Dump City, of course. Commander Kurak has to hear this. I'll assume you've heard of the Scared Straight program, designed to scare criminals into obeying the law. I'm proposing a similar program designed to scare people into controlling their spending, called Scared into Fiscal Conservativism. Contrary to what corporations lie about in the media, being consumeristic is in fact detrimental to the economy. The reason this is because a factory that hires too many people for demands of the rich removes labor from the essential goods market. This therefore causes inflation because the cost of workers goes up when the supply of them goes down for essential goods. So to fix this problem, I am proposing hiring a bunch of cheapskates like myself to set people straight. They would go to people's homes and mock them for all the wasteful spending they see in it. They'd point out how alternative purchasing options could have gotten them better products for far less money. Next, they would go over people's travel habits and shame them for pretending to be so important, flying around, doing what? wasting other people's time doing non-productive activities. Simple when you think about it, but the media likes to lie and say spending money is a good thing for the economy. No, it isn't. It makes the rich richer. That's all it does. It's a big, big lie. Finally, this group would take these foolish consumers to the nearest homeless encampment to show what their wastefulness caused. They would then get picked up and brought to these people's homes so they could set up camp in their yards. Anyways, that's scared into fiscal conservatism. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, let's get on to our Blight example here. And unfortunately, I did not find any Blight maps in over a week. So let's see if Kirac is selling any first. Okay, before I waste a scarab here. I don't see any. You can tell by the shape of it. I don't see any Blight maps. So one other option too is we'll go to the map device here and see if we can get one over here in the Kirac mission list. Do we have any Blight maps? No, you can tell by the shape of it. There are no Blight maps here. However, I have like 100 of these right now. I'm just going to re-roll this. Well, there we go. Oh no, that's not a Blight map. That's a cool map. I'd like to do that map, but I'm going to roll these until I see a Blight map. There is, by the way, an Explorer's Scouting Report that guarantees a Blight map, but I didn't get one of those either. Okay, so here we go. We got ourselves, it appears to be a Blighted map. Okay. Does it have any bad modifiers? Oh, cannot regenerate life, but that's okay. Well, regenerating mana shield, I think that's a showstopper. I don't think I can use this one if I can't regenerate mana. I can leech mana, but I don't know if I want to do a whole Blight encounter. Let's keep rolling. Let's get a better one. I want to get rid of all these. Nope, no Blight maps. Okay, let's grab some more scouting reports. Let's see if we can find ourselves a Blight map here. If not, we'll use some scarabs. Oh, we got ourselves, you know what? This is a really cool map here. Because this is a map that I randomly got that I don't want to waste, I'm not going to do a Blight map. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a regular map here, and we're just going to do one in the side of the game here. I don't see this here. 104% extra physical damage is fire. Take note. That's a pretty bad roll, okay? I don't like when there's like 100% extra. Again, we got another bad one there. I could use a Chaos Orb, but I want to use my Alchemy Orbs up here. Every single one is getting a bad roll. Okay, I can deal with this one here. And this one here. So we'll do a couple of maps here with some scarabs in it, and I'll show you how the Blight mechanic works. And we'll work our way towards searching Exar. And here we go. First thing you do is find your Blight encounter. Would have been nice to actually do a Blight map, but you get what you get, right? They are pretty uncommon, so honestly, this is going to be the most common way you're going to do Blight, because you can't just like, unless you've been lucky, right? Just having one of these spawn naturally is about an 8% chance. Okay, there we go. So we found ourselves our Blight pump here, and we're just going to do this, and I'm just going to reset it and do another one. So rather than do a map, which is pretty rare, like this will be the most common way you do it, is within regular maps like this, and probably scarabs like we just used. Okay, so here we go. We're getting it started here. I like to put so we'll put ourselves a chilling tower here. I'm going to put, okay, see here how the route's going. I'm going to put a empowering one there, and I'm going to put I'm going to start working on a fire one here, because it looks like things are going to come through this way. And next I'll put a seismic one. I'm going to keep upgrading that. This will be pretty easy, this one here, actually. Okay, but it could spread the other way, right? You never know. You got to keep an eye on it. Don't wander too far off from the pump is sort of the lesson here. Okay, so I'm not upgrading these yet. Okay, so this one will be a seismic one. Okay, so this is according to the wiki, this is the best way to do it. And I've been testing this in a few this week, and it seems like it is the best way. I'm going to grab myself an essence while I'm doing it, just to be, you know, multitask, right? You get yourself an essence while grabbing. Okay, I accidentally clicked on that there. I'm going to boost this up here. I'm going to increase this here. See what I'm doing? I'm not standing too far away. Luckily it's only branching in one direction. I'm going to grab this essence. I'm going to boost that. Okay, this here is a petrifying one, so that's a cool upgrade. Oh, there's some nasty monster hitting me there. Okay, and this is the glacial cage. See that symbol? Glacial cage. That's the key one. See what I did there? It spawned just at the right time. Bunch of monsters came through. It's slowing them down. They can't get through. And that glacial cage, if a route went the other way, it could also help me, but I don't think it's going to spawn the other way out this time. Okay, now we're going to go with the meteor one here. This is where you get the big damage upgrade. There are some skill points too that will, I think it's like a 200 or 300% boost to the actual damage of your towers, but you do less damage to them. So depending on how strong your build is, you might prefer that one. Oh, a few snuck through there. Okay, I'm going to add another fire damage one here. Okay, see there's a lightning symbol there. So, some snuck through. I don't know how they got through there. Some of them can be fast too, right? And there we go. That's one example, and I'll go through another one, and then we'll see how I do on a boss. See how this lighting experiment works too. And yeah, and check here on the mini map here. See how there's these here on a. If you do a blight map, they could be everywhere. These cyst chambers. Okay, but when you spawn on a map like this, they're usually not too like you just follow the routes here. Like follow these dotted lines, and you'll see them on the mini map if there's anything to grab. Not much in this one here, but okay, that's one example. We'll see if it spawns in a different place on the next beaches map. Let me just dump this loot away. All right, so let's do one more beach one here with our Blight scarabs already in here. I wonder if it gives me a message with the Blight. If it warns me. It doesn't warn me. I don't want to waste... I'm using the scarab, but apparently you can't do both, so don't do both, right? So let's just have that selected. We'll do another beach map here, and we'll see how this one goes. Maybe it'll branch in. Maybe it'll branch in other directions, and see if it's any different. Same map, same scarabs, and we'll see what the other result is. Maybe if it spawns at a different location, it would be. It'll branch in two directions. Okay, I have noticed that about half of them, at least this year, this season, they've been spawning just one branch. It seemed to me in previous seasons it would spawn in more directions, but again, that could just be random luck, right? Some of them are harder than others. It's as simple as that. Grab an essence on the way, of course. No harm in that. Use some Vol Grace, activate that. I don't even need my Dread Banner. Like, doing content like this, it's only for, like, bosses and stuff. And I'm not going to spawn the Abyss here. Is this going to spawn in the exact same spot? That would be curious. Wow. Oh, there we go. Got a unique here. If the loot filter says pick it up, I pick it up. Okay, where's our Blight encounter? Is this the same? Oh, okay, this is a different one. Okay, it's a slightly different location. This build is so overpowered right now. Like, it's so tanky, and it's such good damage. It's very, very, like, this is a tier 16 with a bunch of scarabs in it, so no complaints with the Marauder choice this season. again, that's a big part of it too, is class choice, unfortunately. No game is perfectly balanced. When people say it's completely balanced, they're lying. It's never completely balanced. It's always going to be close, but no map is completely balanced. Okay, where is our Blight encounter? There has to be one somewhere, right? Wonder if it's in the boss area. Oh, there it is. The one spot, it was right by where we started. And there's our new map here. Okay, so this time it's spawned in a very different section. And we'll see how many branches we get. And then I'll do some lighting magic. You'll see a magic trick after. Okay, here we go. So let's go here. We're branching in this direction. I think this would be a good spot for an empowered one. Let's put the glacial cage one here. And let's put a stunning one right beside it. Right there. The seismic tower. And that will be our triumvirate. Okay, it looks like it's branching in one direction again. And I'm going to start a fire one over here. Okay, maybe our empowering will upgrade and reach it. Let's start upgrading these things here. And I'm going to focus on getting these to at least tier 3s and 4s. And then I'll start adding some other ones. Okay, I don't want them to sneak by. Again, I don't wander too far from the tower here. And the seismic one, of course, stuns it. And it can petrify it. It can slow time once it gets to tier 4. But you want at least tier 3. Lots of stunning at minimum. Right, there we go. It's tier 3. And we want to get this guy to a glacial cage, because that's also very nice. And I do have the 2 rings that make the glacial cage last longer. Okay, there we go. Glacial cage. And if you're a range class, the glacial cage might be really good, because then it keeps some, kind of a separation between yourself and make myself tougher. The other one makes the monsters weaker. So if you're like the other green option, so if you're not as strong a build and you're relying on your towers to do most of the damage, here, let's do the temporal one just for fun. Okay, just to slow them down. Upgrade that. Okay, don't want to die, of course. It's not a good idea. And keep going here. Okay, now that's that. Once you get the tier 4 media, we have, okay, this one's going to be fire resistant, but the other ones will, honestly, I'm doing so much more damage to my towers right now. It doesn't matter that much, but for you, you might want to consider paying a little bit more attention to the symbols here. Okay, we do have a lightning one there too, so and the more you do this, the better you get. It's just like anything else. You practice it. Practice makes perfect, right? Okay, let's add another meteor one here. We're going to keep upgrading it. There we go. That's 2 pumps protected, and there you go. Some blight cysts. No oil there, but you do get a lot of loot. That's another thing too. Okay, and of course in the map version of this, where the whole map is an encounter, you can get, there's bosses, and you get much more loot and a much wider variety of loot. This lighting's kind of weird. I'm going to make an adjustment, and let's see if we can beat the Eater of Worlds. See you in a moment. I think it's time to do the Eater of Worlds fight. This is a fight that even this season I couldn't complete my first couple of tries at it. I finished it once before. I'm in the level 90s now, so it should be a little bit easier. Let's just do our obligatory roll here for Mage Blood. As you know, it's a very good belt. It lets you put flasks in permanently so they don't have to be activated, and we get nothing again. And that's just how it goes. You know what would be really awesome if maybe at the end of the season, I get a Mage Blood, just so that this shtick pays off. I can't do anything about it though. All right, so here we go. This is one of the toughest fights there is. I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to do this, but if you're playing Path of Exile, if you're a noob, maybe you're less of a noob now. Maybe you've gotten through some other stuff and maybe you haven't seen this fight, okay? Whatever the reason is, we're going to go over it here. Oh boy, here we go. Yeah. This guy is tough. Oh, I forgot to put one of the things I was going to say is put a max lightning resist flask in for this guy, because this guy does a lot of lightning damage. And for that reason, but I forgot to do that. I was just so pumped up to do this fight. I'm probably not going to do this. If I die, I'll swap it in. I'll show what I mean. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put in the lightning resist flask. Okay, so this one here, we'll use this one when a unique monster is nearby. And I think we're going to go get rid of... I think we might have to swap. I don't think there's much evasion. This one here. So whenever a unique monster is nearby, let's see. So this guy does do a lot of lightning damage. So let's see how this makes a difference. Bit of a tip there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so when you get to this phase here, see how I waited a second? Oh, there, that wasn't good. The idea is you should wait a second and let it track you a bit sometimes. It's not about how fast you do it. There you go. That's how you do the lightning phase, okay? Maybe the flask helped there. Let's get all buffed up here. Oh. Right. Oh. You do want to have a good amount of DPS, because if you... okay, I can't get any life charges on my flask. So this is a bit of a problem. Okay, so same thing. Run around. See, I didn't go to the closest one there. I don't have any life charges. Oh, that didn't tag that one. Go here. Oh, not the most... No, I ran out of life. Okay, well, you die sometimes in this fight. There we go. Getting some damage on him. I should use my sulfur flask more often. I don't know where he is. Oh, get away from that thing. Just about got him there. Okay, this time we got some life in our flask. Let the thing chase you a bit. Go here, and go here. You all, like, I think Blink might be a better skill, to be honest. No. No. I usually die 5 or 6 times this guy, so if I only die a few times, that's... Okay, there we go. That's the Eater of Worlds. Again, if you're playing... Obviously don't be playing this in hardcore. You'll never get here in your first season hardcore. You got to do this a few times to see those abilities. You saw how you jump into the lightning there, the little things there. Let it chase you a little bit, right? That's the thing. Practice makes perfect. Again, I failed at this the first time I tried it this season. I'm a little bit better into the level 90s here, so it's a little easier. There you go. Eater of Worlds. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next week.